Welcome to the Genealogy Happy Hour, a place where new family historians can learn to document their family histories and celebrate their new discoveries. I'm Amy.
And I'm Penny, and we're here to help you discover your family tree from the beginning.
Welcome to episode 43. Today, Penny and I are going to be talking about some of the preparation that we've been doing for our upcoming research road trip. We're going to be researching in Connecticut and New Jersey. Can hardly wait to get on the road, roll up our sleeves, get into some archives, drink some wine.
And we will actually be on the road once we fly there. We
Yes,
are not
that's true.
driving to Connecticut and New Jersey. So road trip is, is it?
Multiple conveyances to get there. Yes, that's true. We are about convenience, right?
Yes.
All right, but first, before we talk about all the prep that we've been doing, and we probably do deserve a glass of wine for all this prep that we've been doing, what are we drinking today?
So today I found a Pine Ridge Chenin Blanc Viognier. So I love Viognier, y'all know that. And this is a little mixture of wine. It's got a rating of 90 by the Wine Enthusiast. And it is from California and is listed as crisp, lively, and refreshing. This medium-bodied wine offers a tangy citrus flavor with a light mineral accent that adds complexity, and it's a natural pairing for seafood. And
It's very nice.
Yeah, nice. and it's very good. And I know we'll be getting some of that because our first stop when we get out of the airport and we're on our way to the hotel.
You're really saying this?
The first stop is the wine store because we need wine after a long day of research. Yes, I'm really saying it. I'm saying it out loud.
Right.
Saying it out loud.
All right. So, we've been prepping.
Yes.
All right. So, let's go back a little bit. Last year, we were in Ohio.
Right. We were in Ohio, and that was a whole different ball game of research. So, we did 5 days searching in courthouses and libraries, looking for documentation on our 19th century Ohio ancestors. And many Midwestern states, like Ohio, centralize the community's records at the county and circuit court level. So we rolled up our sleeves and paged through deed books and marriage records and court order books, some things on microfilm, but everything was held at the county court level.
So we were in those dusty attics in the courthouses and opening those old smelly books.
Yes, which was a lot of fun.
Exactly. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right.
This year, we're going to New England, specifically New Jersey and Connecticut, in search of 17th and 18th century ancestors. So there are different things that we need to understand for that research.
Right. So we're kind of looking for maybe some Patriots, Revolutionary War ancestors.
Correct.
Right.
I think both of us are going after somebody.
Right. So, however, excuse me, on my New Jersey line, everybody died before the Revolution. So my male people were either too young or already dead before the Revolution. So, which is kind of a bummer. But I still want to make those links because if I can make these links, then I can go back to the colonial period. So I've been prepping for my New Jersey research, which is my Ohio ancestors, Benjamin Miller and Pitney Guest, came to Ohio in 1812 from New Jersey, Morris and Middlesex counties. So, and I know this because, mostly because of Perrin's History of Stark County, Ohio, that was published in 1881. So there's a lot of information about this family moving into Stark County, Ohio. And I have my ancestor Pitney Guest's will and obituary. He is in that text as well, that county history as well. And it says that he was born in 1783 in New Jersey, although the 1850 census says Pennsylvania. But everything else lends itself to New Jersey. He married in New Jersey, and then he died in Ohio in 1856. So what I want to do is I want to prove who his mother is and her maternal line, and then also try and determine who his father is. The only information that I have on his possible parents comes from 2 Find a Grave entries. I contacted the individual who posted those 2 Find a Grave entries, and he has done no additional research on the family. And even on the Find a Grave, it says the dates that he has there need to be verified.
Where did he get the information for the parents?
He didn't say.
I think it's always key to contact the person when somebody throws out some new information and there's nothing listed there about it.
Yeah. And he responded right away. He was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're researching this, but I haven't done anything on it." So
thank you.
Right. So that's kind of where I'm starting from. I do have, so the parents that he says are my ancestor's name is Pitney Guest. He thinks that the father is John Jacob Guest and the mother is Sophia Pitney. And you do find both of those names in New Jersey. I do not find Sophia or John Jacob. There's a John Guest, but not a John Jacob Guest. But I do find a Samuel Pitney and a Zervana Drake. And then from that couple, I can go back. I can find their parents, and then on Zervana's line, I can go then all the way back to New Hampshire in early 1600s.
But you just need to make that connection.
I need to make the connection between Pitney and Sophia, and then Sophia and her parents. So those are the 2 connections that I need to make.
So
and
that's your focus in New Jersey. That's my focus,
exactly.
Okay.
But as you said, we're in a different time period entirely. And in fact, I do know that Samuel Pitney, the supposed father of Sophia, he died in January 1748. I have an abstraction from his last will and testament that was written January 1st. It was proved later that month in Woodbridge, New Jersey. And all it says is that my daughters, when they turn 18, will get their inheritance. But it does say that the wife is Zervana. So I know that's the right, if those are her parents, that's the right family. And I do know that Zervana Drake was born in 1726 in Piscataway. So I've got Woodbridge and Piscataway as possible locations of where to look. Sophia must have been born prior to that 1748. And based on Pitney's date of birth, which is 1783, I'm thinking that she had to be born around just prior to that. So she was probably a small child when her father died. Maybe married around 1765 when she was about 21 years old. So where do I go to get these records? I go to Red Book. Ancestry's Red Book has all the different states, and it outlines all the counties. It outlines where you can get documents from. So that's the first place I went. And I found, at first I went to Wikipedia and I kind of looked up New Jersey. And I found out that in 1609, it was founded as a New Netherlands colony during Henry Hudson's exploration of that area of the New World. And it became a colony in 1664, but then the Dutch recaptured it about 9 years later, and then the English took it back again. So really until 1674, it was mostly in Dutch control. So I don't know where to get those documents from, but I got to get back there first.
Right.
So it was divided into eastern and western New Jersey, and East New Jersey included Piscataway and Woodbridge. So far so good.
There you go.
All right. So then Red Book says that the only known early records are those from Woodbridge and Piscataway.
Oh,
woohoo! Right?
Hallelujah.
All right. And they cite Joseph W. Daly's 1873, abstraction of those vital records. And then it goes on to say, the original records, however, do not seem to have survived.
Oh, boo.
So Daly is the reference and the source. Great. I got Daly. It was $10 on, used books or whatever. And there were some of my, Samuel is in there, Zervana, there's some, the Pitneys, I guess, are in there. I also, and I do not remember where I got this citation from, several years ago, I got a citation that these families were in a book by Monette, or Ora Monette, called The First Settlers of Ye Plantations of Piscataway and Woodbridge, Old East New Jersey, 1664 to 1714.
Wow.
So going through that text. He transcribed a lot of the vital records and has early histories of the area, and these families are loaded in these two.
But does it show Sophia with that?
Sophia's
family?
not in there. No, because it only goes to 1714.
Oh, okay.
And she's born in 1740. So
yes, gotcha.
I can go back, past Sophia and into all of those families, and I do, and it's great. But I have to get Sophia. I got to prove Sophia, Pitney, Sophia. I got to prove those relationships. So, okay, so what's at the county level? So I'm asking what's at the county level. Middlesex and Morris, which is Woodbridge and Piscataway, they were formed in 1683 and 1739. But really the records don't start until 1766 and 1786. So really before she was born. So right, I know. So like, okay, now what do I do? I know that my ancestors left in 1812, and I do have the 1805 marriage already between Pitney and his wife. So I'm thinking my best options are the probate records again, and church baptism records. The church records. Yeah,
that would be my first go-to.
Yep, I got to find where those church records are.
Do they list because I'm just thinking some of the research I've done finding these family histories that were typed up.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, as you go back through the generation, somebody will say, "Oh, they were baptized at blank church." Not everybody is listed like that. It'll just say baptized. Yes. But the minute you hit the whatever church it is, kind of wonder, did the whole family go there forever? Hopefully?
Absolutely. And I do have a church name in Morris, in Morris County that I've contacted the church at one time, and they're like, we don't have the records. So I've got to figure out where those records are.
Where are the records for the church?
So I need to reach out to the local historical society and the local genealogical society to see where those church records are located. They could be at Rutgers in their special collections, So I'm looking at the university that's close by, and then I'm also going to be looking at the state archives too.
So this is where this preliminary research comes in so handy, because if we just showed up and assumed it was going to be at the church, and it's not.
Yep. Yeah.
Then we'd spend all this time, and we're only there for 2 days, I think, in New Jersey working. So finding out exactly where these records are, that'll help us plan out our time more efficiently, getting to the place.
If we flew up there and walked in the county courthouse and said, "Okay, where are your records from? 1650s?" They'd be like,
"Excuse me,
they don't exist. We didn't exist then."
What kind of a genealogist are you?
So we have to be historians first, and we have to understand the history of the area.
Absolutely.
I really want to see if in the surrogates, or up there they call them the surrogates court. If Sophia got her inheritance when she turned 18, there might be a record of that, because there are, I believe, 2 uncles that are listed on her father's as witnesses to the will and as a co-executor of the estate with the wife. I know Samuel had one brother, so I need to look for that brother's records in whatever court records or whatever surrogate's court is, to see if maybe she did get that inheritance at 18 and there's a court record. That would be wonderful. Crossing my fingers on that. I also need to find her marriage. I can't find her marriage yet because she was, of course, married after these early records were transcribed. So I know we got to work cut out for us on this one.
Lucky you.
So, so my plan was, first thing was to go to WorldCat, which lists all of the books that are published, and try to find all the abstracted records from this area. Church records, if any of the churches have been abstracted. Again, are there any other books besides the Daly book and the Monette book from this area? And then I take that list and I go to my local genealogical library. We have a great genealogy library here in Tampa, and they do have a lot of books from that area that have been transcribed. So I'm going to go through those books first, so that when we get there, we don't have to waste our time going through those books. And I'm recording them on my research log, so that when we do go to the library up there, I can look for the books that they have there that we don't have here. So that's the first thing I'm doing. Then I'm checking with the New Jersey State Archives to to see what documents they have, colonial period, and again, like Rutgers University Library, I'm going to check with them. Reach out to the historical and genealogical societies to find those church records, and then put that list together of where we need to go, and then we'll map that out. So I agree. I think, probate records, baptism records, and maybe the deed books, and then try and find those surrogate records. Not just the abstraction, but all of the documents that go with it. So
that'd be good.
That's my plan so far. I also have printed out. Well, go ahead, Ingen.
No. You printed out your family. Not a group sheet, but it's the kind of the tree.
Well, in Reunion, it's called relationship chart, and so it shows both. It starts with Pitney Guest, and then it goes up and it shows his mother, and then her family, her paternal and maternal lines, and then I've made notes in between each of those relationships. Like, I need kinship proof here, I need birth record, I need a marriage record. So I've kind of just wrote notes on those.
But it's very visual.
Yes.
Because it looks like your tree that you've printed out the tree,
right.
but just for that section with the notes included.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very helpful.
And we can put that up online so everybody can see it. And that way I can make notes on this. I have something visual in front of me, because sometimes you don't get Wi-Fi. We may not have access to our digital.
That's so true.
So sometimes you can't take the digital in. So, and it's just, I don't know. I think most genealogists are very visual.
We're very
people.
visual. It's easy, because I could write notes all day long about the family line, and then I confuse myself, but halfway through I'm like, wait, who is this again? And I'm constantly going back to my computer, which has the tree up, and
Right.
so having that printed out when we go is going to be super helpful.
Yep. The other thing I'm going to print out is the family group sheets for each one of these families, because again, sometimes we're having to look for the siblings' records to try and get ourselves to these kinship relationships, especially because I know that Samuel Pitney died early and his brother was involved in his estate and he had young children. So, and I think, I don't remember for sure, but I think it even says that the brother is supposed to be responsible for the children. So hopefully there might be some more court records there.
Yeah.
So what have you been doing?
So I haven't gone as specific as you have into, because I've got several people I'm researching, but I went a little bit of a different direction. So my goal in Connecticut is to be able to complete a supplemental for a DAR. So I really wanted to find a patriot, which I did. There's somebody in there who's already in DI. I just need to make the connection. So I've got to find all the documents and things to make that connection up there. And that is Abraham Turner. And of course, while I'm up there, I just want to do the whole Turner family. I can go beyond Abraham. They go all the way back to one of, I think it's Abraham. Okay, printed this out and it's super tiny. Abraham is 1734 to 1796, and I think it's his father or his grandfather, somebody in there, and I don't know why I didn't put the dates in here for this guy, goes back to, or it could be on the Talmadge one. It wasn't important to me. It was just something that came up, and I was like, okay, well, it's not even in the line, but one of the brothers came over on the Mayflower, and I'm like, well, that's not my guy, because it was a brother, not my direct line. So that was kind of sad, but
if he came over on the Mayflower, there might be a write-up on him that would then
talk
about the family,
yes,
right?
And there is a lot of this. My two families up there that are super big are the Turner and the Talmadge, and both of them have books on their lineage, and where I was able to get lots of clues where their burials were. That's where the cemeteries.
That's really cool. Are we going?
Well, we could go.
I love cemetery. We love cemeteries.
Yes, we love
right?
cemeteries.
Of course we do.
It was funny though, because in my and that is one of my things under my question. Let me get back to this.
Sorry, I took you off track. Sorry,
jumping me off track. So what I did was I took my research log and put it into Google Docs, because I love Google Docs. So I put it in there, and then I just narrowed it down to the certain things I'm going to be looking for, which are the vital records, birth, marriage, death. If they were military, I think I've kind of already answered that. I've got two for that. And then the cemetery, because that was another thing. I was like, we love cemeteries, so I'd love to go see the cemetery if I could find anybody there. So most of my questions are, do they have a grave? Can we take a picture of it? Is it there? And verifying their parents and verifying their information that I got from these family history books. So, yes, so the cemetery, for some reason I had it in my head we're going to be in New Haven, and we're totally not.
But I guess we're going now.
We're going now.
We're going
We're going
Hartford.
to New Haven. Because I've got 7 people buried in New Haven at this Grove Street Cemetery.
Of course we'll take a detour to New Haven.
Yes, of course we will. And Grove Street, but this is a really fascinating story. I guess back in Puritan times, there was the Green, where they did celebrations, they killed people, they buried people all in this area. And there's supposedly 4,000 to 5,000 people buried in the Green, which is now a park. So everything that they're doing now, all their celebrations and stuff, they're on top of.
But
all
what happened to
these
the headstones?
bodies. So the headstones at one point were, or most of the headstones, or some of them, I'm not sure the exact number, were moved to the Grove Street Cemetery. So hopefully that's where we will find people.
The headstones,
but not the bodies.
The bodies are in the park.
Bodies
so we can
in the
just
park.
walk in the park and
You're on
remember
the
your
bodies.
ancestors.
Yes,
Okay.
and there was a story when I was looking at this that during a storm, a tree toppled over and pulled up all these bones with it. So yeah, like, oh, that's creepy.
Okay.
But anyway, there it is. And there's also a church now that was built over a section of it. I think they said Benedict Arnold's first wife is buried there. And really cool pictures. The Center Church on the Green holds about 137 graves. And when you look at the pictures, I guess because of some water issues, they bricked over everything. So it's these headstones coming out of a brick floor.
Okay.
So it's really different looking.
Cool.
So that's a place. Hale Cemetery is one that is near Hartford, and there's 2 people there that I want to go find, and that's Samuel Curtis and Betsy Guernsey Curtis are both buried there. And also, one that we probably won't get to is in Guilford. Westside Cemetery in Guilford has two headstones there, but that's for my friend. She probably doesn't really care that much. Concentrate on my people. Anyway, so that's some headstone or some cemeteries that we can go visit. And so that I researched there. Also, while I was prepping for this and trying to do as much online work as I can, I opened up Zotero, and I know we've talked about Zotero before, and I love this program. It needs to be open on your computer, and I have 2 screens. So I've got my laptop over here, and I've got my external screen where I do my stuff. So Zotero is open on my laptop, and anytime I find a document or a source or something on Ancestry or Family Search, or wherever I am online, I will click on my little extension up at the top for Zotero and add it in, and it goes directly where I want it. And the place I want it in Zotero, I've created a file for Connecticut, and under that file I have sub-files for all the surnames. So I've got a Curtis, a Guernsey, Nash, Baker, Alsop, Talmadge, Peck, Bassett, Potter, Seeley. These are all the people in Connecticut, in that area that I want to research. I will click on their subfolder, and then I will tag it with the person's first name. So I'm not making subfolders for every single person's, but I can just tag it. It pops into Zotero. It has the full citation. It has the link back to that document, so I don't have to go into Ancestry and look it up again. I can just pull up Zotero and click the link. I'm there.
Isn't that amazing?
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's so perfect. So I've got all that stuff there, and when I take my laptop with me, it just comes with me. I can, find it all together.
Yep.
So I did that. So I'm pretty ready. And what I want to do is take that DAR application and kind of work off of that and make sure use that as my guideline. And we talked a long time ago at the very beginning when we were talking about lineage societies. Even if you're not going for a lineage society, pull up one of the applications. And we love the Ohio one. We think they're very thorough in what they do. And use that as your guideline to prove what it is you're trying to prove or to go back those generations.
Right.
Just, use that as your worksheet, even if you're not going for it.
Right. And you can get from, for instance, the DAR, Daughters of the American Revolution, you can get, I think it's about for a $10 fee, you can get a copy of all of the documentation that someone used to prove their their lineage back to the Revolutionary War.
Yes, and that is well worth it.
Yeah,
it's only $10.
If it's especially if it's you definitely know that's your guy. So
yes, which is something that I need to do this week. In fact, for my Abraham Turner, someone has him through William and Mary Talmadge, which are in my line, and I don't know where they go from there, but I would like to see their documentation for that, because that'll make it that much easier. If they've already connected those two, I don't have too far back to go. Yeah. Good. Especially since that's a line, I did my Ohio one up to a certain point, and then it branched off a different way, so I can just use everything I've already done for Ohio and make these few little connections to them. Should be good.
And in Connecticut, most of the documents, most of the records are at the state archives in Hartford, so we're going to be spending a lot of time there.
Yes.
As well. Except we're doing a detour now to
except from
New
my
Haven.
Misguided thought that we're going to be in New Haven. Why did I do that? It's like I got stuck on a city, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's totally where we're going. Not. Not at all. Oh, but our very end of our trip, we're just going to do something fun.
Yeah.
Amy and I discovered that as children, we both went to Mystic, Connecticut with our families. And we both had really fond memories of it. And we thought, let's just go there Friday night. It'll be our last night. And we found a nice little hotel, and we'll tour the town. I'm sure it will be nothing like our childhood memories.
Did you find your picture from...
I didn't, but I have my mom searching for it.
Okay, good.
Amy came up with a picture of her.
I have a picture of me and my mom and my sister on one of the ships there. They have a maritime museum there, so... and I think I was there in like fourth and fifth grade, something like that. So, so it will probably look very different than I remember.
Yes, I feel so, because I can visualize what I think it's going to look like, and it's not going to look anything like that.
But it'll be a lot of fun.
But it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. That'll be our last
So we still have a lot of prepping to do. Prepping is a lot of work,
Prepping
actually.
is a lot of work.
But it's the payoff is when you're there, you can focus on exactly what you need to focus on, and not waste any time. So,
absolutely.
And you know what else we have to research? We have to research restaurants.
Oh, we do.
We do have to research some good. We love to eat locally.
Yes. If anybody listening is in the Hartford area and you've got a great restaurant that's a local restaurant, let us know, because we're always looking for.
Or apparently in New Haven too.
Yeah, maybe New Haven as well. When we go down there for our cemetery. We'll need lunch or dinner.
Absolutely.
Right? We need something. Yeah. So send us some suggestions.
Absolutely. All right. So. Until next time.
When we will report back what we found.
Absolutely. Cheers. Thank you for listening. Please email us with any questions or comments at genealogyhappyhour@gmail.com.
Visit our website, www.genealogyhappyhour.com, for additional resources, books, and wines. Don't forget to drink responsibly.
And never drink around genealogical documents.